All right, for this explainer, I want you to forget everything you know about modern maps. Just set aside the continents and oceans you learned about in school. Because today, we're going on a journey into a totally different kind of world, a sacred geography mapped out for us in the ancient Vayu Purana. This isn't just about rock and water. It's a tour of a universe with a divine structure, a kind of cosmic blueprint. Let's dive in. And right away, we get the central metaphor for this entire worldview. The Earth isn't just some random sphere floating in space. No, it's imagined as this incredible, magnificent lotus flower, literally blossoming out of the unmanifest, the source of all creation. And at the very heart of that lotus, its center, is the legendary Mount Meru. You see, this one single image changes everything. So naturally, our journey has to start right there, at the very center of this cosmic flower, the mythical Mount Meru. And we have to be clear, this isn't just any old mountain. It's what's known as the axis mundi, the cosmic pivot point that the entire universe is organized around. It's the stable, unmoving core from which everything else unfolds. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about here, its height is said to be 84,000 yojanas. Now, a yojana is an ancient unit of measurement, and its exact length has been debated, but honestly, that's not even the point. A number like 84,000 is meant to be incomprehensible. This mountain is meant to be truly colossal, a bridge connecting different realms. What's so fascinating is that Meru isn't just a big, uniform rock. It has 4 distinct faces, and each one has its own color and its own meaning. The eastern face is white, and it's associated with the Brahmana, or priestly class. The south-facing side is yellow for the Vaishya, the merchants. The west is black, and the northern face is red, linked to the Kshatriya, or the warrior class. So the mountain itself kind of embodies this perfect, divine social order. And you can tell this place is divine. Meru is said to shine with the blinding intensity of the midday sun, and at its very core, there's a mysterious, smokeless fire that just burns. This isn't some geological phenomenon, you know? It's a source of pure spiritual energy, just radiating light and power out into the rest of the cosmos. Now, from this blazing cosmic center, a life-giving force flows outward, and that is the celestial river Ganga. And we're not talking about just any river here. This is like the nectar of the gods made real, a torrent of absolute purity flowing down from the heavens themselves. The Vayu Purana lays out its epic journey for us in these really clear stages. It all starts up in the firmament, in this celestial ocean of nectar. From there, it just rushes through the heavens, circling the great Mount Meru, before it crashes against its peaks. And this impact is so powerful that it shatters the single river into 4 mighty streams, each one destined to nourish a different corner of the world. Just think about that for a second. 60,000 yojanas flowing through the supportless firmament. This is a river cascading through open space, an unbelievable waterfall through the heavens before it even gets close to a mountain. The sheer force of that is just unimaginable. In fact, the river's descent was so incredibly powerful, it was threatening to literally shatter the earth on impact. So, to prevent this catastrophe, the great god Shiva steps in. He actually catches the furious torrent in his matted hair to break its fall. The impact was still so immense that a few drops splashed out, landing on the earth and forming the sacred Lake Bindusaris, which means the Lake of Drops. Amazing, right? Okay, so now that the celestial waters have been safely brought down to earth, we can actually follow them. These 4 brand new rivers flow out from the center, and each one goes on to irrigate one of the 4 great petals of our earth lotus, the 4 main continents of the world. And here they are. We've got Padrasva to the east, Bharata to the south, Ketumala out west, and the lands of the Northern Kurus up north. Now, according to the text, these aren't just ordinary places. They are specifically designated as the homes for people who perform pious and meritorious deeds. You have to earn your way here. Let's zoom in for a second on the western continent, Ketumala. Like everything else in this sacred map, its name is not an accident. It comes from a really specific myth, and it literally translates to the Garland Flagstaff continent. So what in the world does that mean? Well, the story goes that after a huge cosmic battle, the god Indra took a divine garland, a mala, and placed it on a massive tree,
And this wasn't just any garland. It was so fragrant and so radiant that it never fades. It just shines from the treetop like a brilliant banner or a flagstaff, a ketu. And that's how the entire land got its name, Ketumala.
And then, up in the north, you have the utopian land of the Kurus. This place is described as basically a paradise for the virtuous, a land of incredible natural abundance. Its major landmark is this magnificent, wish-fulfilling fig tree, whose fruits are said to be the size of pots and are literally filled with pure honey. So, we've seen the continents of mortals, even the most pious ones, but for our final destination, our tour is taking us to a place that is itself divine. We journey to the sublime, sacred peaks of Mount Kailasa, the ultimate abode of the gods. And the way the text describes Kailasa is just beautiful. It says it shines with the pure white luster of the conch. It's reserved for only the most meritorious of souls. You get the sense of ultimate spiritual purity just from its appearance. And get this, perched right on this sacred mountain is the invincible city of Kubera, the god of wealth. The Vayu Purana describes it as this huge, opulent metropolis, 100 yojanas long, just filled with enormous mansions built from pure gold and silver. It's a place of almost unimaginable beauty and divine wealth. And since it's a favorite haunt of Lord Shiva himself, the whole atmosphere of the place is just divine. The air isn't silent, it's alive with the symphony of sounds. You hear waterfalls, the humming of bees, the songs of celestial beings called kinnaras, and the cooing of cuckoos. It's a living, breathing paradise. So, as we wrap up our tour, we're left with this really powerful idea. The Vayu Purana isn't just describing a map, it's describing a cosmos with a built-in meaning, a divine order. And that leaves us with a final question for you. What happens to our own perspective when we try to imagine the world not just as a random collection of rocks and water, but as a sacred, living, and deeply interconnected structure? What changes when the map itself tells a divine story?